guys, thanks for joining us for episode 4 of Clueless Knights. And you might have realised that I have someone sitting in the chair next to me.
Very good English.
Thanks. You might have heard Mike say once or twice that he's getting married and he's going to be busy for the next month. So I had to find someone else who's clueless to take the chair next to me. Sorry
about that.
Welcome, John.
Alright.
It's my mate, John. You might have seen him in a couple of my battle reports. Actually, when you see us playing, you only see him because I'm behind the camera.
This is true. And I'm sure the viewers are very glad about that.
Yeah.
Because they can see you now.
And there's not much to see. Well, actually quite a lot.
We just did a screen test. Plenty to see.
Okay.
What you got?
So
what's going on?
Before we get to the news and all that stuff, I thought John can introduce himself, tell him a little bit about how he got into gaming.
Oh my god.
And how you met me.
Right, hi, I'm John. I'm a gamer.
That's it. Alright.
No, there's more. No. Oh god, where can I start? I was like 6 years old when I started wargaming. Hard to believe, but my brother, who was an inspiration to me in more ways than one, took me down to Games Workshop in Luton. Park Street, you remember that?
I remember, yeah. That's how I got into the hobby as well.
I was tiny, and I was ginger. I still am ginger, but not tiny. Again, some other places maybe. So yeah, he took me down there, and there's all these guys there, and they're painting awesome stuff, and I was hooked, like, from a very early age. This was back in the day of all the old Regiments of Renown. It was Warhammer 3rd edition. It was still Rogue Trader. They were playing on the board.
Is the Rogue Trader's back?
Rogue Trader is back, and I'm sure we'll... is that on your list? I'm sure we'll touch on that, or I will at least, because I'm super stoked for that.
Well, it's interesting. I replaced Michael with John because John is also a big 40k nut.
I am 40k nut, but you see, Michael knows the rules and he knows the ins and outs. I'm just a sort of voyeur, and...
Well, you're more the hobbyist side.
Yeah, I think
you're more
so.
Painter,
more
builder.
yeah.
More the narrative side of things.
For sure.
Where Michael's more obviously a more rules
well,
Nazi.
He is and he isn't. I mean, he's quite a thematic dude as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you look at his games.
I mean, talking about Mike, they just put up a new video on the Team Clueless channel. Have you actually been on the Team Clueless channel?
Not recently.
As a player?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're representing Team Clueless.
Yeah, Team Clueless. And I'm clueless.
Yeah, that's true. So, Mike's got a new video up. It's called The Wedding, the scenario. Isn't that thematic? Have you seen it?
No, they were saying about this. It's a special game.
Him and Nick played the game, and they got
to rescue Michael from getting married.
No.
Oh.
It would have been quite funny.
That would have been cool, yeah.
So, go check it out. I'll put a link up here. You can follow that to Mike's channel, and you can check out his video. So, he's lost 40k battle as a single man.
God. And sorry to the wife-to-be for my comment just then. She's a greater demon.
She's definitely greater than him. Okay.
Crazy.
So, that's the intro to you. Let's get on to some news. Now, I've been looking at some news of items that have been going on over the last couple of weeks. So, we'll get on to that, but there's obviously Warhammer Fest that just happened.
Yeah.
With lots and lots and lots of news. So, we might not cover everything, but we'll touch on a couple of bits and just talk about what we...
Well, if it's me talking, it's going to be me saying there was stuff.
Yeah, well...
In fact, that's it. That's covered it. Right, moving on.
Okay, so before we get to that, I think what surprised a lot of people was X-Wing 2.0 getting announced.
Have you played X-Wing? Seen that. I've not played X-Wing. I've seen it being played above my head.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I don't collect X-Wing, but I played it a couple of times. I knew a few people that had it, and it's made by Fantasy Flight Games, so it's not a surprise to me that there's a 2.0 because
it's inevitable. Isn't it?
Yeah, they're shopping obviously. What's interesting though, a lot of people are complaining about, or not complaining, but more talking about, is that your ships from the first set and all the other stuff that you bought from the original game is compatible with 2.0.
Okay.
But it's not just a straight port. You can't just take your ships and play the 2.0 game. You need to buy an upgrade pack.
Why?
Because they got a new force mechanic. They've changed a bit of some of the mechanics in the game and stuff like that. So it's not a straight out, like, I'll just take my TIE fighters from the first game and just plug it into this one. You need the upgrade pack.
Are they going to make that affordable, do you think? Is that going to be just a little sort of, a little nudge to all those that have supported them so far? Is that a thing?
I have no idea. What I've heard is around about $45, $50.
Okay, I'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's inevitable that they would make a second edition of the game.
I say I'd be pretty pissed. I have worked my way through 8 editions
Oh,
of 40k.
yeah. I was going to say, you're the last person to
Yeah. And bought every book twice.
I mean, how many books of Codex
Too
and
many.
Space Marine
Shut
Codex
up.
have you?
Carry on.
So that was interesting. X-Wing 2.0 has been announced by Fantasy Flight Games. Obviously, there's a huge following for X-Wing. Big tournament scene. Probably going to be a big tournament at the UK Expo in a couple of weeks' time. So that's very interesting. And while we're on Star Wars and Fantasy Flight Games, obviously Star Wars Legion is now out and about,
thing, yeah.
and tons of stuff coming out for that. New releases for that already. I think they just released Princess Leia as Commander Leia or General Leia.
General, I guess.
And she's obviously a new commander you can have in the Imperial Forces, and some snowtroopers. And then some other companies have jumped on board. I don't know if it's officially working together with Fantasy Flight. I doubt it.
Oh yeah, I doubt it too.
But Gal Force 9 have obviously made some Star Wars scenery packs. So I'll put up a couple of pictures here of some of their packs.
I like them.
What are they? What are Tatooine, is it?
Yeah, it looks like the Tatooine sort of sandy, housey hut things out there. What else did they do?
Well, they do a lot of Battlefield in a Box games for various generic scenery. But this one had like the power generators, those gun turret things.
Yeah, that was like the Hoth.
Yeah.
It looked like the Hoth set.
Yeah. So those are quite interesting. But they're not the only ones. Foreground have also jumped on there. Excuse me, and made what is that one on the moon? The forest moon of Endor. So they've made some scenery for that as well. So you've got that little platforms and stuff that the little Chewbacca's running around on.
A little loop. They got like cylinder trees with the walkways on.
Yep.
That was the main thing. That was, that was big as well because
the
pointed out the ATST was
fits
sitting
underneath.
comfortably underneath. You mentioned how there's quite a big scale up, isn't it? From
and you were mentioning another company that also had some mats, I think, to go with it, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't mats. It was on the topic of scenery, the likes of it was 40k stuff, Necromunda bits.
Okay.
Do you want to cover that now?
Well, we can get to that. But yeah, so Star Wars is obviously making a big splash, and other companies are jumping on board and are bringing out some scenery to cover the tables for that, which is cool.
I think that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Fantasy Flight will bring out scenery at some point. I'm pretty sure they got a couple of bits in the pipeline. You really get in the starter box, you get those little barricades and stuff like that.
Okay, so that's something they already are capable of.
Yeah, and if they want to push this and make it scenery is very important, especially to the aesthetic of the game. I mean, we know as our games.
One of our main things.
Yeah. And talking about keeping on the Star Wars bandwagon and Fantasy Flight Games, they've also announced a new Imperial Assault expansion, the Tyrants of Lothal. I know nothing about this.
Who?
I know nothing about this other than the fact that I'm quite surprised. When Star Wars Legion was announced, I thought that was the end for Imperial Assault. And they did mention the fact that might be the last expansion pack that came out, big box expansion that came out for it. And because of the scale difference in the miniatures,
that's a big thing.
You kind of thought, well, maybe this is the end for Imperial Assault. There's a lot of content. Let's not make a mistake about that. A lot of content for that. So it's not like they need more. But of course, if more comes out, people will buy it.
Well, and especially, they have supported that game quite furiously, shall we say. I mean, just by looking at your painting commissions coming in, it's like a new expansion coming out pretty fast. So I'm surprised that they haven't run out of ideas. Or perhaps they have, because I've never heard of Torrents of Lothal. But,
Well, this is the thing. I've got a soft spot for Imperial Assault. I think it's the game itself is actually decent, not brilliant. But obviously, it started off my whole painting commission thing in a big way.
Your big thing.
Churning out Imperial Assault commissions one after the other. And obviously, all those people I've painted for, every time an expansion comes out, they need me to paint up the new expansion.
Well, yeah, otherwise, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, business-wise, I love it. Imperial Assault.
For sure. Well, it's good though that they're supporting this as well. For all of those that have already invested so much into the Imperial Assault franchise, as it were.
Yeah.
You can call it that. That's surely a good thing.
Because it's also quite interesting. I mean, when they brought out Imperial Assault as the dungeon crawl game, it came with another game, another supplement game came with it, which was the skirmish version, where you could take the miniatures from the dungeon crawl
and play it on fully 3D board. Is that what
you could, but they made maps and stuff that you could play head to head. So if you wanted to play against each other, just 2-player, we could draft or drew up a force,
that's right,
and then play against each other in a skirmish version. And that never really took off, which is quite interesting. And I don't know if that influenced their decision with Legion, because that's where I thought it was going. You know, like Imperial Assault was the dungeon,
right.
And if skirmish was doing well, they would then jump into a 40k version, if you like, you know, a mass battle version. But instead, they just went, we're doing Legion now, and it's a bigger scale.
Cool.
So that's interesting. That was interesting to me.
It's coming out.
Yeah.
Loads of Star Wars.
That's all the Star Wars news. Now we can go into Warhammer Fest.
Oh.
John was at Warhammer Fest over the weekend.
I was.
And unfortunately I couldn't go as my other half went rocking out for the weekend.
She did.
She went to go watch a load of rock
Loads of
concerts.
fun.
Yeah. So I was on the babysitting duty, but I watched with eagerness of all the Twitter feeds and Instagram feeds and stuff.
I went to the Warhammer Fest on the Sunday, you see, and I feel like everything that was kind of cool came out on the Saturday, and obviously with the power of tinterwebs,
you knew everything.
We all knew it. I knew everything anyway, so I went in there with my eyes pretty much already fully open, if that's possible.
As a hobbyist, I mean, it's surprising that me and you don't do a lot of Games Workshop games. We play the occasional 40k game and the occasional Blood Bowl game.
Yeah,
you know, occasional
compared to it,
yeah. But we're also open-minded to every other game that's out there.
Oh yeah.
And but there's obviously a lot of people who are very Games Workshop centered.
Obviously, that was my entrance to the gaming world. So I've always got a soft spot for 40k, and they are kind of the leading.
Oh yeah,
especially
in model making.
Models,
but yeah,
ridiculous.
Unbelievable. But I'll tell you, from a hobbyist perspective, the amount of, I mean, a lot of people like 40k especially might look at Warhammer Fest and go, there wasn't a lot of announcements that interested them.
Well, yeah, in regards to that, but as a whole, as a hobby as a whole,
yeah,
there was loads of stuff going on.
Well, it was Age of Sigmar 2.0.
Yeah.
And that is apparently coming out in June, which is only like 2 weeks away. Yeah. And also, I
was there. I didn't know that.
I'm also 100% sure. Wow, 100%. How could I possibly be 100% sure? But I'm very sure that they'll be demoing it at the expo in a couple of weeks' time.
If they do, let me know, because that's something that's not kind of.
Yeah.
It's not hooked us in, is it really?
So that's going to be there. I'm almost certain, because last year when I went, they had the Primera Strikers Marines starter box. They were demoing that there. Anyway, and Games Workshop have a much bigger role now in the expo as well. So they announced 2.0. They got a new team for Blood Bowl, Dark Elves.
Dark Elves were shown, yeah.
Loads of cool little fidgety
there was
things.
Loads of other little bits as well. I don't know if
Did you see the cheerleaders?
Yes.
The ogre cheerleaders.
I have pictures.
Were hilarious.
Orc cheerleaders.
Yeah.
There were some chaos cheerleaders, elf cheerleaders, human cheerleaders, and they looked awesome.
Yeah.
I've got to get some. I've got to get some orc ones.
Dark Elf team looked cool as well.
Yes. Very old school looking.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
We will have Blood Bowl on the channel at some point, but you've got to keep it in mind that I'm rubbish. I play speedball. I don't think about what I'm doing, I just go for it.
Well, that's good, and I think that's the best way to play it.
So if you ever see us play Blood Bowl on the channel, you've got to keep in mind you're watching us for fun, not for tactics or strategy.
Not for tactics.
We'll never enter a tournament because we'll get laughed out the place.
We might not.
But yeah, so it was Age of Sigmar 2.0, Blood Bowl, new Necromunda gang. Not so much, it was bits for the Necromunda gang.
The extra kits, all the different weapons options for the Goliaths and the Escher. Well, that was kind of already out before Warhammer Fest, as I like to call it. But they did the Advanced Styles come out recently, and they had the upgrade sprues there for those.
And when they're talking about maybe bringing a Cardor, is it Cardor? Cador?
There's Cawdor. There was a little sneaky shot of a piece of artwork for those. They look quite different from the original Cawdor gang.
All right.
Because the Cawdor gangers, they looked almost.
Are they the ones with
medieval.
the trench coats? No.
No, that's Delac.
Oh, okay.
Delac? That felt weird saying that. But yeah, it's Delac. No, they had like hoods and like half leather masks. They looked very sort of religious-y. But they're slightly different now. Because in the sort of backstory, they're the peasants of the Hive more so than anything else. But because of that, they're extremely devout in their faith to the Emperor. So they're all sort of dishevelled and they're scavengers primarily.
And don't run away very often, I'm thinking. Break from morale or anything.
Don't know.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so that was announced. For me, the highlight, I think, was Adeptus Titanicus. Holy crap, that looked good.
Looks schmexy.
I mean, I thought when I first saw the pictures, I actually thought I was looking at
the
a
actual
full,
Forge world.
Yeah, like knights and
warlord.
titans and everything. And then I was like, actually, no, this is small scale.
Yeah.
And they've got scenery, they got all the knights, the titans, and everything all in a box. They said this is going to be the most expensive box.
Yes, that's something they have said. They seem to be doing two boxes. There's the standard box where you get the rules, and you mostly get a few other bits and gubbins and bits and bobs in there. And then there's the, oh god, what is it called? The Grand Master Edition. That's what it's called. That's the one they're sort of saying is going to be their most expensive board game of their recent run of board games.
Yeah.
But there is like £200, but you get.
Have you pre-ordered it yet?
No, I haven't. No, I'm not like that. No, but I think I might. It's really good.
It looks good. I was impressed. I mean, the scenery and everything made it look so cool, and it's
the detail. It's going to be worth the wait. I don't know if you guys have been following Adeptus Titanicus. Originally, it was going to be in resin or something like that, but then they changed it and wanted to make it more mainstream and make the cast in plastic. So it's taken a long time for them to get to this stage, but I think it's going to be worth it. The quality of the miniatures is awesome.
It always is, isn't it?
I didn't actually look into any of the gameplay. Not that they had any gameplay there, but the designers were there, and I think you could look at the cards of it's like a data sheet for the Titan itself. You got all the little bits, like I think there's separate damage counters for each arm and the legs and the head and the core and everything. So you got.
It kind of reminds me of Battletech.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that's going to be really good. Loads of fun.
The other thing they announced, which ironically, I don't think I saw anything of it at Warhammerfest, and you said you didn't see it there either, was Rogue Trader.
That's true, yeah. That came out just before Warhammer Fest dropped. Yeah. It was in fact a couple of days before. New board game.
That looks amazing.
Just called Rogue Trader.
I mean, the miniatures in that look crazy cool. The mutant, the plague side.
Oh god, yeah. The cows look like actual cows. We were talking about this. I like the aesthetic of what they're bringing in there because the cows are completely insane in this. Like Nurgle, you can see it's Nurgle. It's got buboes. It's got intestines hanging out. It's got crazy horns and one eyes. But this is like chaos in its purest form. You've got like a squid arm on a big body with a dude hanging out.
Stitched together.
Thing. You got the other one. It's got teeth on it. Like, it made me feel a bit weird. There's all these mouths in its belly.
That butcher-looking model is amazing. I mean,
and then on the flip side,
grotesque.
They're horrid. But that's a good thing in this case. And then you've got the flip side, which is that nice, clean, crisp cut appearance of the Rogue Trader and his minions, as it were. They're sort of like Inquisitors, but not. They're privateers. They get sent out into the galaxy to reclaim planets and all sorts of gubbins and bring it back for the greater good of the Imperium of Man.
I kind of
look schmexy.
I kind of figured this would be right up your street because as long as I've known you, you've always any time we've played
Rogue Trader.
Yeah, Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader.
Going to be mentioned.
Yeah, it's like a nervous twitch. No, I think it would be good. I think it's just going to be a standalone game, pretty much like some of the other ones we've got, like
Assassinorum.
What's that other one?
Battle Calf and stuff like that.
Not so much that.
What's the one with the Gene Stealers?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but that one. Yeah.
So yeah, I can't.
It's worth it just for the models alone. I don't even care if the game's a pile of turd.
Well, yeah,
you say that, you beep that out.
We got plenty of other games we can
kind of
play
used
with
to
the
that,
figures.
yeah.
But was there anything else announced? I'm trying to think of it now.
There was a lot of seminars going on.
Did you have a look?
And
what did you think of the show in general? Like, Because the hall downstairs looked massive where you could play games
The
and stuff.
hall was big, yeah. There was a grand tournament going on, I think, or a tournament of some description, which was good. So there were loads of gaming tables, which I think you could turn up and play if you fancied it. It looked like most people were playing the tournament though. Blood Bowl was being played. They had sort of the computer game stands at one end, along with all sorts of other merchandise like leggings. They kept going on about it. Tony Carew, do not buy me Ultramarine skin tight leggings, please do not. There was that. There was hoodies. There was stuff. There was loads going on. Then also there was a retail bit, standard shop, Forge World as usual. I like the arena that they did it in. I can't remember what it's called. In Coventry. Splits it into the tiers.
Was
So
it
they had
held there last year?
It mostly was, but I didn't go last year. So that was good. All the designers there, showing all the bits and bobs in the glass cabinets.
I actually,
It's worth going to.
on a smaller note, I just thought of something else that was announced, which is not a big deal, and I don't think anyone's. I like it, but I don't think anyone else is really there. They announced some new Lord of the Rings models.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Of course they did. Yeah.
The Dolemroth Swan Knights. They got the foot versions now. You remember in the movie? I can't remember his name now. Was that the orc, one of the orc commanders? He was the one that waiting for the pirates to get off the boat, and he shouted at them, "Come on, you land, you sea dogs, get off your
I
ships."
think so. I mean,
he had like a skull on top of his head.
Okay,
with
yeah,
a spike in it like that, and then obviously Aragorn and them jump off the boat and murder them
surprise!
all. Yeah, with their hordes of
Roll a
ghosts.
6. That was Aragorn. You dead.
So that guy, I think I made a model for him.
Why? Anyway, doesn't
And,
matter. It's
and
cool.
they also did what looked like a 3D render of new Minas Tirith warriors, which is really cool because they were quite dated. I mean, when I started playing, they were the first models to be made.
Remember when that was?
Oh my god,
2003?
a long time
Before
ago.
then.
So
Oh
yeah,
God.
I saw a couple of renders of those, and they look really cool as well.
It's nice that they're still being supported.
Well, I kind of
War of the
like
Rings.
War of the Ring. I thought was a very underrated game. I really liked it a lot, and I don't think it got as much love because I thought the strategy battle game at the time, before they made a new version of it,
Yeah.
wasn't as quite as popular, especially compared to Fantasy and 40k.
It wasn't. It was always sort of a sub.
Like the ugly stepchild.
Yeah, very much so. I don't know why.
But I liked it. I thought it was really good. But anyway,
Yes, sorry.
that's the
Where are we?
news.
The news!
So that's Warhammer Fest was obviously, I think, a big success. Tons and tons of new stuff announced. I was talking about what's quite interesting is that Idleness Deepkin wasn't that long ago announced? Was it like a month ago?
Yeah, not
And
that long.
you thought like that is a big. So that was announced like a month ago, and you would think that's a massive announcement, like
It's
a whole new faction with a ton of new models, that massive models as well. I mean the big guy with the flowing sea cloak and the big turtle, the sea shark riders. It's like that to me 10 years ago would have been a massive announcement to suffice for the next 6 months.
That's the whole games day wrapped up in one. Yeah,
and that was just sort of we got this coming out. We got more shit coming out in a month's time for Warhammer
It's
Fest.
going to be interesting.
So I think they're cranking out stuff like crazy at the moment.
Are they cranking it out too fast?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is, but I mean that it's working because everyone's infused like crazy. I think 40k is probably getting a little less love than maybe the rest, but it goes in cycles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Age of Sigmar is the one that they're focusing on now. In a year's time,
Well, we have 8th is still in the process. 40k that is. They're still cranking out the codices, even though there'll always be a faction that is not happy that their codex is not next.
Yes. I mean, I was talking about the codexes. I mean, it feels like there's 3 released as well as Death Guard,
Death Watch, Harlequins, and something else.
Yeah, so they're cranking them out.
Knights are coming out soon with the big ass knight.
Yeah.
We're still on the news section, it seems.
Yeah,
we're still on Warhammer Fest. Come on, man, what's going on?
Going on forever. All right, so
it's all good.
I mean, like we said, there's tons of news. I mean, there's loads of sites as well that you can check out all the information about all these things. We're just touching on a few bits here. Well, this is kind of leads into the Kickstarter section. John doesn't know a lot about Kickstarter stuff because he just relies on me to tell him. So
I thought we were going down the page here.
no, we'll come back to those.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk about some Kickstarter games, and that is also gone through the roof. There's so many Kickstarter games going on at the moment.
When isn't there?
Oh, that's true, but I feel like now is even more
It's a
so.
big thing. I suppose what you mean is there's some interesting
Yeah.
that you're personally interested in.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably easily a half a dozen games that I would, if I was a rich
Yeah.
man, I'd be clicking that buy button straight.
Mine.
But one of the things I'd like to mention,
What
I actually think it just ended this weekend, was Confrontation.
Oh, that's an old game.
Yeah, it used to be done by Rack and Miniatures. And ironically, when I was running my shop,
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
When you had your shop, that was like,
oh man,
boom.
that was like a massive seller for me. I mean, I kind of modelled my shop to a Games Workshop clone when I opened up. So it had a very similar feel to Games Workshop.
Yeah.
You know, it had gaming tables, you came in, you played your demos, and it had stock for all the stuff that I was demoing. You know, very similar thing, and I had a lot of Games Workshop stock, especially 40k and fantasy. Not so much on the Lord of the Rings front, because there wasn't a big following at the time. And it's that point, I think maybe 6 months into the shop, I was trying to look for some new stuff. I got Privateer Press on board, and we started stocking War Machine and Hordes, and that did alright. Well, the Hordes didn't exist at the time, but Hordes was doing alright. And then I got Rackham on board, and I brought in some Confrontation stuff. And that went through the roof. That was so good. I mean, I think I was one of the few stockists around that did.
Well, it was quite different in every aspect. The aesthetics of the miniatures,
and they were beautiful.
The rules, yes, they were.
And
they certainly were.
The packaging was also really interesting.
It's
such a small thing, but the package, like the blisters, at the time Games Workshop did flat blister with the bubble wrap, you know, the packaging, and you just saw the miniatures. So when you looked at it, you saw the miniatures. Whereas Rackham did it the other way around and had the cards facing outwards.
Right, the art,
the
art. You
and
can have a little look at that
and
flip it.
For some reason, that was a massive draw to customers. And when they walked in and looking at the shelves, they immediately just look at that.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful miniatures. They really were.
They still are.
Yes, obviously. So I played a bit of that. I did the Lions of Alahan.
I barely touched it, I must confess.
Yeah,
but it was gorgeous.
But it did, and I was sad to see it go, because they made some interesting choices. I mean, they went to pre-painted plastics.
That's right.
And you know, they brought out a sci-fi version, AT-43. No,
I think you had it there.
AT-43. Yeah, and that was a pre-painted plastic game, and it did alright actually. You know, because it was different. It was the only real challenger to 40k at the time. You know, for a sci-fi skirmish game type thing.
Isn't that strange how that did okay? AT-43 went alright, but then when they announced, because that was pre-painted plastics.
Yep.
And yet when they announced the pre-painted Confrontation, it kind of went.
It just took a massive nosedive. I mean, it went really bad, and obviously they just burned the company completely.
Boo.
And they went down with the ship. And now, what is it? 10 years later, 15 years later. Who knows what time?
Who knows? I don't even know.
They've just brought another company. It's not Rackham. I can't remember the company's name now, but I'll put a picture up here.
Right.
They've just obviously brought a Kickstarter out that is bringing back all the old models from the original game, bringing back plus the game itself. But this is only the start. So they brought out this massive Kickstarter, and it's like for about £375 or something, you can buy every figure created like for Rackham. That's a lot of fucking figures.
That's a fair amount.
But this is just the beginning apparently. What they're going to be doing is they've got Confrontation Classic, which is the Kickstarter that was just running now.
Right.
And then at a later stage, they're going to bring out a new version of Confrontation with new miniatures, new game system, or refined game system.
Okay.
And
because it was quite in depth, wasn't it? The rules.
Yeah.
Confrontation. I think that's what made it so interesting.
Well, it's definitely to a certain amount of group of players. I mean, it was very thinky kind of game.
Very thinky.
So it was.
That's why I didn't like the game. I'm talking into the microphone, like looking at it, but you're up there. Right?
Yeah.
How's it going?
So yeah, I thought bringing Confrontation back. I didn't know how the Kickstarter was going to do. You know, like I was thinking, why bring back a game?
Would they be relying on people to have known about it in the first place from the original Confrontation, or do you think they were aiming it at?
Well, I don't know, because I personally, and this is my personal opinion, I was thinking this is not going to work. I mean, I was looking from my own personal perspective. I've got still confrontation figures there. I sold all my lions, but at the time I was collecting Dwarves of Midnor, which are these chaosy looking dwarves all stitched together.
Oh
with
God, I remember those.
stuff.
Yeah.
Great figures. They were fantastic. And I collected quite a bit. I got quite a little collection of
You still got them, right?
Yeah, they're up in the loft, untouched in the box. You know, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with them for ages. Like, you know, should I do a Kings of War army with them?
Sure we'll
should I
find
do
something.
a Dragon Rampant army?
You can use it for confrontation.
Yeah, now I've heard I can bring it back for confrontation. But my point was, is like, they can't be targeting me because I already have the figures.
Yeah,
you know, and
true.
I don't want to buy every figure created for confrontation. So
it is a bit full on.
yeah. So are we looking at collectors who just want to paint the figures? Are we looking at, you know, people who are trying to get back into it because they sold all this stuff?
Maybe.
So I don't know. I just looked at it and thought this is an odd decision. You know, you could bring the game back and with new figures and stuff that would work, but just bringing back everything that's already been, I was unsure. But what do I know?
How's it funded?
Yeah, it did really, really well.
What was their target? Can you remember?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But, you know, I remember.
Must have been big.
They were well over the target line. I mean, they were unlocking stretch goals left, right, and centre. So it did really well.
Watch this space. Or
Exactly.
that space.
Yeah.
Or this space. Something.
So another Kickstarter I want to talk about is obviously Mantic Games had the Hellboy board game.
Right, yeah, that's been.
It's got like a week when we recorded this. It's still got a week to go on Kickstarter. It's done really well.
So it must be about 3 months ago.
Yeah, this is got in 2011.
Yeah.
No,
It's not really.
I think the Hellboy miniatures look really cool.
Yeah, I've seen it pop up. I'm always checking in on the Mantic Games, and that's a big thing on their website at the moment. Well, it always is. They focus hardcore on their newest project. So
Yeah.
obviously Hellboy being the newest one. Previous to that was Star Saga, which I think was quite successable.
It's up there.
Which
Still
is
in cellophane.
There it is. Hopefully we'll get to see that someday, one day, before we die.
Yeah.
Hellboy, yeah, miniatures are cool.
I first got to go back to Mars Attacks.
Mate, it's long gone.
Yeah,
mate.
no, this is the problem. It's like I'll back these games, put it on the shelf, go right. At some point, I'll get to this, and it's,
Tell me about Hellboy, because the miniatures look cool. What's the deal with that?
it's obviously based on the Hellboy comic.
Right.
They got a guy to come in and make the rules for them. James, I've forgotten his last name now.
Hi, James.
Yeah, he worked on the Blood Bowl game for Games Workshop,
Okay.
the new version of Blood Bowl. So he obviously got on board, made this rules for this, and I got to say, I mean, I've not played the game. I watched the videos and stuff. The rules look okay. But it doesn't jump out at me. The figures and the themes what jumps out at me.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, as Mantic Games are growing, the figures they're bringing out, I actually think are really, really good. I mean, the Star Saga and the more recent releases for Walking Dead, the figures in those are one-piece, you know, plastic sculpts.
Yeah, I must admit they're pretty crisp.
Yeah, clean, really nicely done. I'm actually quite happy with what they're bringing out in plastic-wise, and the Vanguard models.
That look good.
Yeah, that looks fantastic. I'm actually really excited for Vanguard. I think that comes out next year, January sometime.
I thought it was already done.
Well, no, it's the Kickstarter's done.
What?
They're just bringing it out. They got like a rotation of stuff coming out. Before that, they still got the Terrain Crate stuff to come out. They just brought Dreadball 2.0 out, or 3.0, or whatever. So it's like a rotation of Kickstarters. Warpath is still going to come out.
Right.
So Vanguard is still low down the list, man.
Okay.
But I'm actually looking forward to it. I think it looks really, really good. Vanguard, that is.
Yes.
And the Hellboy miniatures look really good as well.
Because we saw that at the Mantic Open Day last year.
No,
It was there.
Did we?
Yeah.
I remember seeing the
Vanguard. Because the designer was there. And he was
They
like...
they were using just normal miniatures. The normal Kings of War miniatures. They weren't actually using the Vanguard miniatures.
Oh, true that. They had some of the miniatures in the old cupboard.
Three
Cabinet.
prints and
Not
stuff.
cupboard, that would be weird. Cabinet.
Alright, so obviously go check out the Hellboy Kickstarter. And the last one I want to talk about, and this is on Kickstarter at the moment, it's still got a long way to go in terms of time and funding as well. This is out of the 3 games we're mentioning here, this is one's not funded yet. And this is Godslayer.
Yes.
Picture come up here. Ironically, me and John, we got a warband each for this. Oh, must
It
have
was a
been.
gift. You gifted me with the Greeks.
You got the Halidines, and I've got the Mortons, which is like the Roman and Greek thing.
Yeah.
The thematicness of this game appeals to me quite a bit. It's like it's set in this sort of think of a Norse type world, because it's got like 9 realms that are not on the same planet, if you like.
This sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah. And that's set in like the one realm that they're focusing on at the moment is set in the kind of like a world that we know of, if you think of, because it's got Romans, it's got Greeks, it's got Vikings, it's got barbarians, Celts, that sort of thing. But each one of those factions, for example, like the Romans, the faction I got, they are Romans as in the way that we know them. You know, the pillars,
Aesthetically to look at.
Just a little heavier armored, maybe.
Haven't they got a twinge of undead?
Yes. So you can a sub faction of theirs is one of the they got like necromancers who have legionnaires, undead legionnaires coming up. They've also got like one of the things that drew me to where there's basically barbarian legionnaires. So it's like Romans with like ripped arms and massive double-handed axes. So cool.
They are pretty cool.
So it's got like this whole like twist on what we know as reality. You know, like the Romans, Greeks, that sort of thing, but they got the fantastical nature to it. So, for example, John's got the Greeks, and they got the Amazons as a sub.
Spartans.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's got like loads of other things as well, like the troglodytes and cyclopses, and they're talking about like this Kickstarter is not to restart the game. The game is out. You can go buy the book and get the starter boxes like we've got. That's not going to change. What this is bringing in is a wave of second releases of miniatures and stuff.
Okay.
So instead, it's also trying to do a 2-player starter box. So the 2-player starter box is obviously how you get more people into the game. It comes with 2 factions and the rule book and that sort of thing. And then each faction has its own new starter set.
So as Godslayer stands at the moment, it doesn't have a starter box.
No, it just has faction
the
starters.
faction boxes, okay, which is what obviously we have, and hopefully you guys, if you did get into it, you'd actually have them painted by now and maybe have played the game. Maybe.
I've actually painted most of mine.
Shut up. Well, you have, yeah. True.
But I gotta admit, it wasn't to actually play Godslayer.
No.
I had this crazy idea to play Frostgrave with them.
It was quite a clever idea, though, wasn't it? It was like you're obsessed with repurposing or multi-purposing.
Multi-purpose, that's right. It's my tagline, multi-purpose miniatures.
Considering you don't have a lot of time to paint your own personal stuff, I think that's quite a clever little strategy there.
So I kind of figured, I'll talk about this now that we brought this up, I kind of figured because it comes with a necromancer, i.e. Frostgrave, and you get a necromancer in there.
Yeah.
The Mortons have necromancers, and they raise up legionnaires in zombie form, which is what the necromancers in Frostgrave do. And then they have barbarians, which is the giant legionnaire axes. They have the normal men-at-arms with swords and shield, which is the legionnaire guys.
Dudes.
Yeah, so it all fitted perfectly together to have one unit painted up, which could suffice for Frostgrave and for Godslayer.
We still haven't played it.
Yeah, either. I've not played Frostgrave or Godslayer.
We looked at Frostgrave.
Yeah, and we will
nice. Bought the cards.
We will play it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure we will. And Godslayer, hopefully.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're interested in this sort of thing, you know, mythical, fantastical combination, yeah, go check it out. The models are good, and I think the thematics and nature and the aesthetic of it is
skirmish as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. It's got a little bit of a War Machine feel to it in gameplay, except the difference is instead of like in War Machine, I activate my entire side and then you do yours. It's you do a unit, I do a unit, you do a unit, I do a unit.
How do you know that?
I've watched gameplay videos.
Alright then.
I got to do some research.
Oh, no, right, yeah. True.
Alright, so that's the Kickstarter news.
Kickstarter!
So
you do that, don't you?
No, I don't do any of that.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about some hobby time. This month has been actually a really interesting time and going forward as well. We had Salute.
We did.
We went to Salute with a couple of friends. Did you have a good time? Can you even remember?
I can't remember it.
I had a good time. I thought it was really good. I did a little video and it's on this channel. You can check it out where I did a little recap of what I picked up. I got a couple of cowboys from Black Scorpion.
Yes.
I picked up the Gods and Mortals book from Osprey.
Yes.
So we could use Mythic Battles.
Osprey!
Yeah.
We like blue books.
We do like that. And I picked up a couple of bits and pieces. You can check
Blue
it
book. That's Osprey blue books, not other blue books. Just to point that out.
Highlight for me from the salute was this. It felt like it was like what do they call it? Anthropomorphic.
A great word.
Yeah, it's like we're humanoid animals. Like there was this French company who had this pirate game with loads of humanoid.
You said about this, so I completely missed it because I walk around like this at most of them.
Yeah.
What was it like? Animals?
Yeah,
Pirate animals like badger,
walruses and pandas and stuff. Beautiful miniatures, great looking thematic game.
Did you play it?
No, I didn't. I
played it with the son.
No, he played Blood and Sword and Plunder, was the pirate game. Blood and oh my god, I can't remember.
Blood and Guts. And
Blood and Plunder. Blood and Plunder. Which I gotta admit, I thought it was pretty good. You know, like I mean, I've seen it before, and I thought it looked alright. Right. And then Alex was talking to the guy who was demoing it, who was dressed like a pirate,
of course.
And he got Alex to play the game. I was looking at another table next door, and then I came over and watched them play. And I thought, you know what, this looks alright actually. It's easy, quick moving, quite thematic. Can do really cool scenery with it.
I think that's a big selling point. I don't know about you, but for me now, it's got to be.
I mean, the scenery, the table there. I know you didn't see it, so you should go watch my video.
I will.
But
I'm still looking at that. Hi guys.
But they had like this, loads of galleys out with ships sailing towards the beach,
man.
and then on the beach they had loads of market stalls and little ship jetties and stuff.
Proper little.
And because it's a skirmish-based game, you know, like there was units of 8, so like 8 riflemen or 8 or 4s. It might have been in 4s. I can't remember now. But it was brilliant. It, you know, intertwined in between the scenery and stuff.
I've got to check that out.
So that was pretty cool. I thought that was really cool. The other table that was really, really good was TT Combat. They had made
oh man,
zombie
I did
table.
see that. I don't think I actually saw it in the flesh, but I have watched your video once before, and I will watch it again. But yeah, go on. It was mini.
Well, they basically, they had like a gaming conference with loads of gaming tables, and something had gone let loose and made all the gamers into zombies and stuff. Brilliant concept, great fun. I mean, it looked brilliant. I even want to do it myself. You know, it just looked like a lot of fun. And they had like loads of other
Keep your eyes peeled, 2030. Yeah! That would be the...
If that.
What else is there?
So, you know, I thought Salute was a good success. I had a good fun. I
like Salute. You get to bimble around. You got all the traders there, but it's not just like, boom, big trader, big name. This is our stock. I like all the little traders. I like the little ones where you get to go and rummage and stuff. There's loads of cool things, cool concepts, and.
Well, for me, it's not even about the buying. It's just
I love looking
the
at
models,
the boards and
tables.
getting a bit of. I very much like Salute for
inspiration.
That's the word. It sets you up for the hobbying year.
Yeah, I like it as well for exactly that. You know, just being around other gamers. You know, who are a similar boat to you, looking at other things, beautiful things, making creative things. Yeah,
really good.
It's really cool.
Good source.
A couple of weeks before that, or after that, was International Tabletop Day, which you missed out on because you were
I did miss it
asleep.
out. Yeah.
Which is basically, it's not a big deal. It's just
it is a big deal. What are you on about? You can't say that.
Yeah, well, it's made by Will.
It's becoming a big deal.
Will Wheaton started this, so it's not a big deal then.
Oh, okay. Who?
No.
Will who?
But it's basically a day just dedicated to gaming.
Like steak and
like every day for me. But yeah, we every year we go to this little scout hall, and we have a load of people come over, and we just play games for the whole day.
Board games.
Yeah, board games. Yeah, board games. And I went to that, played a lot of games, played with a lot of different people, had a good time. It was good.
That's a good thing to just sort of have that, and it's becoming more mainstream. I'm sure you've mostly already talked about this before, but board games seems to be a thing, man. It's like cafes, you go to board games.
Yeah, I mean, board games are more, every year that goes past, more and more it becomes mainstream. I mean, the UK Expo is in 2 weeks' time. I remember the first expo I went to, which was in this little dinky museum, you know, that, I mean...
Really?
Yeah,
sort of abstract little...
Yeah, it was just like couple of tables thrown around, a couple of people standing behind their little
Hi, this is
tablecloth
This
tables.
is a full game.
Yeah, and
They don't sound like that, I'm sure.
I mean, there was maybe 1,000 people or so, going to these events. Now the expo coming up in 2.5 weeks time is going to be massive. I mean, last year it was big. This year it's bigger.
Well, man, your walk around videos take about 3 hours, so it must be big.
Yeah, we're really thinking about it. My walk around video is going to split it down into actually.
You're gonna have to.
Because it's getting massive now, and it's really cool. I really enjoy that a lot. The fact that it's growing, and that more and more publishers and companies are coming to these events. Looking at the expo as this is a must-have, must be on the calendar. Yeah. So that's really cool.
You're going to be there?
I am. I'm going to be working at the CCG Board Game and Social stand, which is L1.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You might have just sent a lot of people to some other shop.
But I'm looking forward. I've been helping at the shop every year for the last couple of years.
Good.
I help Barney out there, and it gives me some chances to go speak to the people and stuff like that. I really enjoy it a lot. I actually enjoy working at these events more than I do actually going to them, because I get to see all the enthusiast stuff that
I see, because you get to stand still and have everything come to you.
Yeah.
You lazy bastard.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to walk around.
That's right, yeah.
And then you do that.
People come to me.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoy it a lot. I think it's really good. I'm looking forward to it. Really excited.
Big things this year?
Yeah, I'm going to, after this video, I'm going to be doing another video for my Gaming Nights channel, where we're going to talk about some of the games. We've got a whole list of notes of games.
We don't want to spoil that on this little video here then.
So, that was Tabletop Day. I've played a few games this month. We did a 40k game.
We did.
That's
the first time in a long time.
Yeah. Thought I'd dust off the Imperial Guard and get them on the table.
Little thematic game there.
Yeah, it was fun actually. I quite enjoyed that.
Bust out with your guard against my sort of Astra Genus Steeler Collie thing going on there. It's a fun game.
We also played a game of Lion Rampant.
We did.
The third in our little series.
Third scenario in the Blue Book range. Osprey Blue Books, not other Blue Books. Dirty people. Which is... I enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah,
it was fun. Getting Bob out of Bogenhafen.
That's right, yeah. Fat bastard. So I'm looking forward to the game 4.
I know, but we're lagging behind, guys.
There's been some good feedback on the games as well.
That has been good, yeah. I'm enjoying it.
And I've played a couple of games of Mythic Battles and Shadespire. You've played a couple of games as well with the club?
Yeah, our local club, Luton Tabletop Gaming Club. Thought I'd plug it there.
That's not much of a plug, man. No one understands what you just said.
Nobody even knows where it is, and nobody cares. Running a Chris McPhee's running a Blood Bowl league, which has kept the momentum, which is kind of good. And we're in like game 3, I think now.
Week 3.
Week 3, yeah, yeah. Fixture week 3.
I must admit, it feels
it's
like
one round every month.
Oh, I was gonna say that's why it feels like it's long.
Yeah,
I feel like you guys are on game 6 already.
No. It's one round every month, but we're a game ahead, where it's got enough momentum for us to bring forward the fixtures a little bit.
Okay.
So that's really nice to see, because I'm sure you've run campaigns and various things in your gaming life, and sometimes it just fizzles out.
Yeah.
But this has kept up the momentum. It's a fun game. If you haven't played Blood Bowl, go and play it. I
enjoy Blood Bowl. But like I said earlier, I'm rubbish at Blood Bowl.
Well, so am I. I got an orc team.
Then you have 2 draws and a win or something.
Well, yeah.
So you're not that rubbish then?
Well, no, I guess not. But still, I don't think I'm in it for the fun. I'm like, I will pick up that goblin and throw him for no other reason than I can pick him up and throw him.
I think the last game I played was against D, and I lost 5-2 or something like that. I scored 2 touchdowns though.
Good on you, man. What else?
So
didn't you got some games in, didn't you, the other week?
Well, those are for next month.
Oh,
so it's a secret.
Fair enough. Say no more.
This video is going to go up before I can mention those.
Okay. Oh, God.
So that's basically hobby time. That's what we did. Painting. Wow. This is the problem where it comes with painting. I've not actually done, because I like to talk about what I've painted.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can talk about at the moment. What have you painted for yourself?
I've been working on my Lion Rampant mounted sergeants.
I see them.
Yeah,
I see them.
they're
right there.
a very slow process at the moment because
Well, there's been a lot going on.
I've got the expo coming
Yeah,
up,
that's a big thing.
and believe it or not, I have a lot of things to paint for that. A couple of publishers contact me to get me paint some of their stuff for display and demo purposes and things like that. So that takes up a lot of my time, and I just haven't had the time to paint any of my own stuff.
Okay then. Well, as a sort of a link to that, is there anything you can leak to our wonderful viewers about some of the things that you've been painting, which may or may not be?
Yes, if you come to
privy,
the expo, you can see I painted up a game called Full Moon Jacket.
What's that all about?
It's basically set in Vietnam, and think if you played Zombicide, think Zombicide, right? So you're a unit of like a unit of Marines. You have different abilities like gunner, sergeant, comms link, that sort of thing. And you'd basically there's a plane, helicopter, a Huey crash somewhere, and you need to go find the.
We're a rescue team, man. Not assassins.
And you got to basically go find the information and then get to the extraction point for them to get you out. And there's a shit ton of werewolves hunting you down.
I don't remember them in the Vietnam War. That sounds cool. What's that called again?
Full Moon Jacket.
Right.
So I've painted up a demo copy of that. You can go check that out at the Wordforge game stand. Morn Quest has just come up on Kickstarter today, which is what is the date today? The 19th of May.
Of May.
Yeah.
17th?
That's an Irish legend game, Irish folk legend. And
to be sure.
Yeah. And it's got some really interesting miniatures.
It's the 17th of May today.
Alright, it's the 17th. So I've been painting some miniatures for that. They actually got a Kickstarter running, and they've got a pledge level where you can get the miniatures painted by me.
Oh, shameless plug. Check it out though, right?
Yeah. I've got I did the digital armored miniatures game, the tanks.
Yes, got those pictures.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's going to be there.
That looks fun. It's like a world of tanks.
Yeah. D&B Games are going to be doing Roseburn Manor, which is a dungeon crawl game that they're developing. They're the people who do a lot of dungeon tiles and stuff like that.
Who are you looking at? Is there someone over there?
And I've done the heroes for that, and loads more.
So plenty to look at then at this expo.
Yeah. So that's all going to be there, hopefully in time. If I get them all
you can do it.
Yeah. Well, John's even helping me out. He's doing some ambulances
Nino.
He's got some ambulances for Dice Hospital done.
It's fun.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work going through here. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been painting, just not for
yourself. Same for me, man. I think the closest I got is I painted a fence and a barn for our next Lion Rampant, whatever that is.
Talking about the barn, I love the fact that you put that little nest with the eggs on top of the roof.
I had to.
Such a nice little touch.
The only reason that happened is because I had a manky old paintbrush, which I used for the nest, and I sleep with a little beanbag thing, a little snoogie like a travel thing.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
it popped a little bit, and I don't know where they came out, but the little bobbles come out.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to use those as eggs. So if you ever see that, that's the secret.
What did you use for the nest?
You know, like when a paintbrush goes... Have you got any manky old paintbrushes? When a paintbrush gets all mank, that's not actually that mank, I don't know if you can see it. You know when they feather out and they get all sort of dry and crispy,
yeah.
if you don't look after your brushes, that's what will happen. I got that and I went chop, chop, chop. And it happened to look perfectly like a bird's nest.
That's cool. I love the fact that I remember us talking about that just before, and not the nest thing, but like saying like, do you want to make the terrain like really like little mini dioramas?
Yeah, man.
With chickens running around.
That's
and
a good thing.
And then the next picture I see is a nest on the barn.
Well, there you go.
Breakfast.
Oh. Gotta paint me some piggies.
So that was pretty cool. I like that. So
Good.
That was you. Is that what you painted?
That's literally all I've touched, and that ambulance that you just aforementioned, and another one which I need to get done yesterday.
That's 16.
Well, yeah, I've not really got a lot done.
What are you painting on your Lion Rampant stuff now?
I would really like to.
You're going to get hundreds of those peasants.
No, that was a stupid idea.
Are they out? And you're going to get
No,
some...
I think I want to get some bidwers to cover that 2-point slot.
Yeah, me too.
Go check out our games. I think I want to paint my mounted yeoman, you know? because it's sort of been a 1-for-1. I say 1-for-1. It's been 12-6. You're painting some cavalry at the moment. I wouldn't mind getting my mounted yeoman painted.
That's a good idea. I was saying that when we reach game 6.
We'll do a little.
Actually, I was going to say that halfway through the campaign we're going to do a campaign.
There's a few.
Which I thought was going to be after the next one. 4, so there'd be like 8 scenarios.
You thought there was only 8 scenarios?
Yeah, there's 12 scenarios in the book. So that means we're going to have at least 12 battle reports. And then there's a halfway review and a full place review.
Can we do it?
Oh my god, are we going to burn out and run out? By game 9, like, screw this, I can't be bothered anymore.
We can do it, man.
Yeah, we can do it. I'll have mine all painted way before you.
Way before. Slowpoke.
So, have we got any upcoming games?
We haven't actually got any games planned, have we?
We'll probably play in the game 4 of Lion Rampant at some point.
I would like to get that in. I would like to get another game of 40k in.
I've got 2 games of Kings of War.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah. Actually, you know what I wouldn't mind playing as well? I wouldn't mind getting into Necromunda.
I've got the gangs, man. I've got some gangs. I can sort you out with a gang, man.
Yeah.
I could be your dealer, man.
Yeah.
Just to get a little game in.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, talking of which, there's something we completely missed and I wanted to talk about. All the way back at the scenery bit. GameMat.eu do a resin pre-painted terrain set for Necromunda, if you don't know anything about it. This little skirmish game. And in the game, you get these tiles.
Okay.
Right? And on those tiles, there's blacked out zone metalis. Walls.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So GameMat.eu and there's another company, which I can't remember, Death Ray Design, I think. Something like that. They both do versions of the walls for the zone metalis boards.
Have you bought some?
Not yet. But I think I might go for the Game.mat.eu thing because they're pre-painted, straight out of the box.
Oh, pre-painted is your
100
you
notes.
love that.
Well, look, I don't even get to paint my own models, so... Boom.
Penny one ambulance.
Check them out. I've got another one to paint.
Yeah, no, GameMat do some really good stuff as well. We use a lot of the scenery actually as well. In our last line ramp, wasn't the last line rampant video?
Don't embarrass us, man. Don't embarrass us.
Is that not a...
Sorry, GameMat. No, they're conflicts.
Oh yes.
Terrain.
Yeah, well, they're very similar, aren't they?
I mean, in the sense that they're pre-painted and buildings.
And medieval buildings.
And medieval.
Yeah, oh, fair enough.
But you've got to check them out. They're getting more and more kits. I do have the ruins from GameMat.
That's right, yeah.
For Frostgrave that we've never played.
Yeah.
Prepared.
We'll get to it.
We will.
You can comment below what you want to see us play at some point. And maybe we'll get...
do that.
Maybe get Mike involved as well. See if he wants to play something new.
Might go kick us in the pants to get painting stuff. Highly likely.
You know what I haven't played in a while and I really want to get to the table is bolt action.
Man, that's good.
Oh, talking about bolt action. I've seen the new Conflict 47 Italian faction.
What?
You know, a hard on for Romans. They got like heavy armored Roman soldiers for the Italians. And they look amazing. It's like, I looked at them and I was like, I want those so bad.
Give it a rest.
I know, I can't help it. It's a plastic crack, even though they're not plastic, they're metal.
Still. Yeah,
just gotta help it.
It's a good game. Anyway, we completely, this list of things has completely gone awry.
Oh, don't worry. Me and Mike, every week we say we'll get this video down to an hour.
Is this going to be the shortest video?
I don't know, but it's probably way over already. Oh. I'll cut down most of the shit. I'm not going to do that.
That's 10 minutes of content, man.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's Clueless Knights episode 4.
I'm
done.
Clueless.
I'm Knight.
He's a Knight.
And Michael should be back with us next episode.
What was his lame excuse for not doing this again?
He's getting married and going on a honeymoon to the Barbados.
Oh yeah, it reminds me, Michael, this is going to be out after your wedding, but I can't make it. I'm sorry, man. I wish you all the best. I can't make it because I'm watching another wedding on the television, and that's not the real reason.
I'm going to go watch Deadpool. I can't be bothered.
Good luck!
I'll be there, Mike. See you later, mate. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Bye.